The Baha'is is a presentation of the Baha'i community of Canada.
This is Wildfire at Parkside High, and it's 9:10 in the morning. We're just preparing for a show. Well, Wildfire have been invited to Parkside to take part in an anti-racism day, and we have a few dances about social issues, and one of them is the racism dance. So we'll be also performing a multicultural dance to do with the unity of the world's cultures.
What brought them together? A 19-year-old from New Zealand, a 21-year-old from Swaziland, a 22-year-old from Spain, and a 17-year-old from Quebec. All strangers when they met in Southern Ontario to dedicate 8 months of their lives to perform at schools and community centers. The answer? An unusual project called the Wildfire Dance Theatre. Wildfire Dance Theatre is a non-profit educational performing arts group. The volunteer members offer their services to enhance community awareness about critical social issues. Their vision is to use the performing arts to promote social healing and to inspire youth to work for positive change. Wildfire Dance Theatre brings together the energy and enthusiasm of youth with dance and music to dramatize both negative social problems such as racism, violence against women, drug abuse, and poverty, as well as to dramatize positive aspects of contemporary life. The program celebrates the diverse cultural and religious expressions of the human family.
I think Wildfire, if I was to explain to someone, it's a service project to help with social and economic development. The message that we're trying to communicate is one of unity between people. A really important one, especially for young people, is the removal of prejudices, because it is just so destructive between all people. You go to schools and you see different groups and they all dislike each other. The whole world's in this state. And I think there's a dance called Women as Peacemakers, and that's about equality between men and women. There's a dance about racism. It's about equality of races. It's all to do with unity. And I think that's the basic message behind all of it. And we end with a multicultural dance, which again has the same message.
In our equality dance, you see the woman being pushed down and like rejected, and her voice is not being heard by the man. And you see the struggle, and then you see it gradually you see the man gradually come to accept and realize that she has potentialities that that need to be heard. So it kind of, some of them present a solution, and some of them just create awareness about the problem so that people can realize that, that it's out there and it needs to be dealt with.
What we're trying to do in Wildfire Dance Theatre is bring to people's attention that issues like racism and domestic violence and gang violence and abuse do actually exist outside of media and the movies and stuff like that. It's an everyday thing, and we're just trying to educate the world on how to deal with these problems and just to let them know that they actually exist and that you can do something to change it.
We're trying to teach people about different social issues that are happening in the world, such as racism, drug abuse, many different topics like that. And just trying to show the world how it can actually be, how the world can actually be unified.
Like we explained that racism is a disease, and there's no like operation or anything, like medication or anything for racism, it's inherited by your parents. And during the dance, you'll see two kids playing with each other at school, and then their parents come to pick them up, and they see their children playing with another race, and they don't like it. And so, because like through what they've seen, like they don't like it, so they teach their kids not to. They tell their kids, oh, you know, don't play with them because they're different from us. And then during the dancing, like you'll see them a bit of conflict going on, and then but then at the end of the dance they come together as one. They realize that they're all the same, and so they come together as one.
Well, I think change takes place within the individual. Maybe by us performing the drug dance. Well, the drug dance is about a girl that's going through a lot of problems in her life. You know, she's got her parents are at her, and her friends she's not getting along with her friends and her peers, and so she looks to drugs as a way to as an escape from her problems, which is actually a negative outlook on the whole thing. And what we're trying to do is just enlighten people and just let them know that there are other ways that you can deal with your problems, and that you're not alone, and that people are always constantly here to help you, and you can work through it together.
Wildfire Dance Theatre hopes to achieve two major things through the performances and through the tour. And one is the spiritual transformation of the Baha'i youth themselves. They grow to become independent leaders. There is no quote-unquote adult supervision on tour. These youth organize and lead themselves. It's youth leading youth. They do not have a road manager. They have all their own roles themselves, but our purpose is that they gain moral and organizational leadership skills, and also, of course, improve their performance abilities. The second thing is to really move the audience to do things that they would have procrastinated to do in the past. So whether that's contribute into the community or try and edify the bonds in their own family, we try and move people that is otherwise hard to do by cold rationalization. The theater has a very powerful tool to do that.
Oh, it was awesome. This crowd was so just hospitable and welcoming and enthused about things. Like, it was really good, and it was fun too. It was really pumped.
All our dances are very serious, and although peer pressure is a very serious issue, it kind of deals with it in more of a humorous way, because what it is that there's an individual, the girl that everybody makes fun of, or the person that's kind of the outcast, but this person is identified as everyday people. You know, like they dress just like, this person dresses like everyday. You're supposed to kind of make the audience feel that you're them. You know what I mean? And then the people, the crowd, the cool crowd is, they're just the complete opposite of what you would think the typical cool crowd would be. And so what it is, it's just trying to demonstrate that everybody goes through peer pressure.
Messages that are given, many of them are along the Baha'i principles. For example, the multicultural dance shows different cultures performing their own dances. And at the end, they all come together, so it's like unity and diversity, which is along the Baha'i teachings. And some other things like racism and abuse and war, messages that are given are to show the evils of these things, and to pretty much show the Baha'i message for these subjects.
Well, I hope that the audience, that we can show the audience the true spirit and unity of what the Baha'i faith is all about, and what, the world can be like, and positive changes that can be brought about just by acknowledging certain issues and that they're there, and how we can change things for the better.
In the late 1970s, a television actor named Oscar de Grue, an African-American member of the Baha'i faith, started a small improvisational theater for youth in Los Angeles called, simply, Workshop. He was concerned about the social problems that he saw around him, especially among youth. During workshop, young people got together to talk about social problems and then act or dance out solutions. Interest in workshops soon exploded. Short one-day or two-day tours to local schools and community centers started. In the early 1990s, two women from Seattle, Laura Lee, a professional choreographer, and Susan Power, a dancer, started the Diversity Dance Workshop. This was the birth of the full-time volunteer dance workshop theater for youth. Shortly thereafter, European Baha'i started their own workshop, which drew on youth from many different countries, including Canada, which toured Europe and Asia. By 1998, Ontario also had its own full-time dance workshop, called the Wildfire Dance Theatre, begun with the support of the Baha'i Council of Ontario.
Well, Wildfire began about 4 years ago now, and it was an effort to bring to North America what many of us had experienced in other parts of the world, in Europe and South America and Asia, where we had experienced, or participated in different theaters that were trying to affect social change within the communities that they toured in. And we figured, we have more people, more resources, more Baha'is, and so we should be able to do this very well. And it's right, we did have more resources, but it was very difficult at first. We started off with 5 youth from Canada and America, devoting a year of their lives to theater or art for social change. And they did performances about racism, drug abuse, family violence, abuse in general, gang violence, and they toured the continent with that for almost a year. So Wildfire's intent is really to affect social change, to social movement through moving hearts and minds within a theater context.
In 2001, the participants of the Wildfire Dance Workshop included 11 youth from 6 countries: the US and Canada, England, Spain, Swaziland, Australia, and New Zealand. Each had wanted to dedicate a year of voluntary service to the community. They had heard about Wildfire primarily through websites and word of mouth. On a cold January day, they arrived at the Nancy Campbell Collegiate Institute in Stratford, Ontario, to get to know one another and to begin training.
All the youth involved in the Wildfire Dance Theatre are Baha'is. They are recruited through different Baha'i institutions, but really the inspiration for Wildfire is within the Baha'i writings. And it says that with regards to the arts, ye will verily behold things of which ye have never heard before. And that's due to the inspiration that we feel the Baha'i Revelation gives to artists trying to actually contribute to society, not just entertain, but entertain, educate, and inspire. That's in fact, that's the formula, that's the mandate of Wildfire Dance Theatre, to do those 3 things: entertain, educate, and inspire. And if we can do those 3 things simultaneously, we feel that we can expect social transformation.
I heard about Wildfire Dance Theatre from a former member, the sound man, called Ben, and I met him at a Baha'i youth conference in Wales, in England. And he told me about it and gave me the email address, and I thought that, why not? I'll just try it. I didn't have anything else going, so I emailed them, and they replied back and said that I was accepted. And 4 days later, I was here. It was really, really good, yeah. I've spent a long time working just in a cafe, and it had become a bit monotonous, and I really wanted to concentrate some kind of service to the world, because as Baha'is we take a year of service, and the idea of a year of service is so that you can spend every day trying to help people and create an awareness of the world's problems and offer solutions, that kind of thing. And so I really wanted to be able to do this kind of thing for myself. I'd heard about it, and dance, I really love dancing, and it's just such a good way of attracting people and touching hearts.
A year of service is something that many Baha'i youth are encouraged to do. They can do this in any avenue whatsoever, not just an avenue that they hope to pursue as a profession later on. After high school or after university, they're really encouraged to take a period away from family, school, or work, and their own community, and serve in a place where there's no distractions. There's nothing else to do except for really work on contributing in a volunteer way. This can be done within their community, but many youth like the idea of going to a foreign exotic place and doing that.
I was the first in my family to do a year of service, and a year of service is in between time of when you've finished high school and you're going on to university, and you can take that break to like the Baha'is, like any Baha'i youth can take that break and go away somewhere and do a year of service, like wherever they choose to do it.
And the possibilities of service are just endless. There's administration, there's agriculture, there's health, there's environmental, there's all those different things. And so the youth that we have, youth that have really been proactive and tried to search out avenues in which they could serve to the best of their abilities. So many of them really felt that they had strengths in the performing arts and decided to choose Wildfire as their avenue of service.
Most of the participants in the Wildfire Dance Theatre have no formal training in dance. There's a wide variation of levels of fitness and experience in dance and theater performance. The focus of the initial 5-week training, in addition to improving fitness levels and learning well all 18 dances, is in team building and study of the social issues upon which the dances are based. Leadership and organizational skills are also taught, for once the group of youth finish their training, they assume the tasks of receiving bookings, driving to the communities that host them, and planning all other aspects of their performances.
Our training, we start our mornings at 7, we all get up at 7, we have breakfast, we come to the school, we have breakfast. By 8:30 we're here, we say prayers during the morning to get us started. Then we have our warm-up, and then we just start, we rehearse from say 9:30 through till lunch. And then we have lunch, and then we come back, and then we rehearse again. And in the evenings is more of like a get-together for the group, like a social participation where the group takes time to get to know each other more better, or like closure with each other.
The training with people with no dance background is, well, the steps aren't always really, really complicated. They just take, like, you have to work on sharpness or, you know, a little bit more grace here and there, but usually, like, when they cast the roles, they pick the people who do it the best, and, you know, we spend a lot of time trying to perfect different moves, and it's really not that hard. It just takes perseverance and patience, a lot of patience. Meeting everybody for the first time was very nerve-wracking. I was so scared, but it was exciting too. Everybody was really excited because it's the weirdest feeling knowing that you're going to be so close to everybody and you don't know them yet. Like, you're going to have like a whole new family and just fall in love with these people, and you don't even know what they look like yet or their names, and it's a cool feeling.
On the road, the members of the Wildfire Dance Theatre can perform their 50-minute show, often followed by a question and discussion period, as many as 3 times a day, 6 days a week. They perform in living rooms, community centers, schools, and universities, from small Ontario rural hamlets to large urban centers, wherever invitations take them and schedules permit. While the Wildfire Dance Theatre is aimed at raising awareness of pressing social issues through the dance dramas and providing opportunities for youth and adults to discuss these issues, the dancers themselves are transformed by the challenges and rewards of the experience of being involved in this service project. Even after only 5 weeks of being thrown together for the first time, one participant reflected on the profound effects.
Well, within the group, we've only been together for 5 weeks, but I could feel that after the second week, we had started to become a lot closer. And it's because, like, you're with these people 24/7, you know? You live with these people and they become your family, and you consult with them in big groups. And it's not that you're not an individual anymore taking care of yourself. You're a group of people trying to work together and just trying to survive together. And in some ways it's harder, but in some ways it's a lot easier, and it's very rewarding, you know, because it's more of a growing experience.
Since I've been here, I think my life has changed a lot, because I've met a lot of people which I've never met before in my life, people from Spain and Swaziland, and to be able to meet people like that and become really good friends is just, it's an amazing experience.
Before I thought that I would never join something like this, but once I saw the shows and I saw that the power of their message and the impact they had on people's hearts, it made me want to become part of that.
As a Baha'i, my need to keep a connection with God and to do my best to fulfill what I feel that I need to be doing in this lifetime is so strong that no matter what happens, I'm going to try to, you know, keep going, and I'm going to try to do my best. Whereas if I were just in a, you know, a normal setting, I might not have the, you know, the motivation to do that.
So often we hear negative reports in the media about the failures and problems of youth, their lack of respect and irresponsibility, or their violent behavior. Yet there are other stories to be told about young people, and this has been one of them. When given the opportunity and the direction, motivated by their faith, youth can move the world. They can have a profoundly positive effect on the lives of all of us. It is their desire and commitment to help bring about a sense of hope and positive change that has brought together these youth from diverse parts of the world to dedicate a year of their lives to the service of others in Canada through the Wildfire Dance Theatre.
I hope that the performances will enthuse people who are watching, who will encourage them to think positively about the future, because there are so many people today who just think that we're on a downhill slope and there's no way out of it. I want people to feel hopeful and encouraged and yeah, and empowered to make a change, some kind of change, because our slogan is youth can move the world.
You have been watching a program produced by the Baha'i Community of Canada. Canada has been home to Baha'is for over 100 years. They live in every province and territory and represent a cross-section of Canadian society. The essential message of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, is that of unity. Baha'u'llah wrote extensively about the abolition of prejudice of all kinds, universal education, the equality of men and women, the harmony of science and religion, and the challenges facing humanity if we are to unite in a peaceful and just global society. More than 180 national Baha'i communities around the world are pursuing social and economic development projects, collaborating with governments, other organizations, and the agencies of the United Nations. Canada has been extolled in Baha'i writings as a country whose future is very great. Canadian Baha'is are working to do their part for their country and for the world. For more information on the Baha'i Community of Canada, phone the Baha'i National Center at 1-800-433-3284. If you would like a copy of this TV program or the document on which this program is based, please write the Baha'i Community of Canada, External Affairs Department, 7200 Leslie Street, Thornhill, Ontario, L3T 6L8.